For decades, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization has operated on a foundational principle that requires its member states to invest at least 2% of their gross domestic product into national defense. While many nations have historically fallen short of this immense financial commitment, the geopolitical landscape of 2026 has forced a dramatic recalculation across the Western world. Canada, a nation long criticized by its allies for relying heavily on the United States military apparatus for its own security, has officially crossed this controversial threshold. This sudden and massive influx of military funding represents a fundamental shift in North American defense strategy, signaling that the era of uncontested peace has definitively ended and a new age of military readiness has begun. Welcome to Dark Notice. Today, we are examining a critical shift in global military strategy and defense spending. We are going to analyze why Canada has abruptly transformed its defense posture, detail the specific next-generation weaponry driving this budget surge, and explore how this unprecedented financial commitment could fundamentally alter the balance of power across the Northern Hemisphere. The 2% defense spending target has always been a significant point of contention within NATO. For major developed nations, reaching this percentage translates to tens of billions of dollars allocated toward advanced weaponry, personnel, and strategic infrastructure every single year. Historically, Canada maintained a defense budget well below this metric, prioritizing domestic spending while comfortably sharing a continent with a superpower. However, the international security environment has deteriorated rapidly, prompting intense pressure from Washington and European allies for Ottawa to finally carry its own weight. Before we dive into the specific military acquisitions driving this massive budget increase, I want to hear your perspective on this long-standing debate. Do you believe that the 2% NATO spending requirement is a fair expectation for all member nations, or does it place an unnecessary financial burden on countries that do not face immediate border threats? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, as this debate is absolutely central to the future of the alliance. In 2026, the Canadian government executed a profound pivot, elevating its defense expenditure to nearly $63 billion. This monumental budget increase is not merely a bureaucratic adjustment, it is a direct response to a rapidly changing global threat matrix. The capital is aggressively modernizing its capabilities across all domains. A significant portion of this funding is directed toward the integration of 88 F-35 Lightning II stealth multi-role fighters, fundamentally upgrading North American aerospace deterrence. Furthermore, Ottawa is investing heavily in a fleet of advanced maritime patrol aircraft and committing billions to the modernization of the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD. Upgrading the Northern Warning System is now a critical priority, as older radar installations are largely incapable of tracking modern threats like hypersonic glide vehicles and next-generation cruise missiles. The timing of this military expansion is inextricably linked to the melting ice of the High North. Canada's vast northern geography has transformed from a natural frozen shield into an active zone of global competition. The Arctic region is opening up, creating new maritime shipping routes and exposing massive, untapped natural resources. Rival superpowers are not ignoring this opportunity. Russia has heavily remilitarized the Kola Peninsula, deploying advanced submarine fleets beneath the ice, while China has officially labeled itself a near-Arctic state, aggressively seeking to establish a strategic foothold in the region. Securing this frontier requires deep-water naval capabilities, persistent satellite surveillance, and rapid response forces. Canada has realized that controlling its northern territory is no longer a theoretical exercise, but an absolute strategic imperative that demands immediate, large-scale funding to prevent adversarial encroachment. The ramifications of Canada's defense spending surge extend far beyond its own borders. Within the closed doors of NATO headquarters, defense strategists are already debating whether the 2% baseline is even sufficient for the modern threat landscape, with some defense ministers privately suggesting a future target of 3 or even 4% of GDP. If this trend continues, the world is poised to witness a massive conventional arms buildup that mirrors the height of the Cold War. The financial decisions being made today will dictate the global security architecture of the next century. As military budgets swell and global alliances harden, we are left to observe whether these preparations will guarantee peace through overwhelming strength or inevitably spiral into a wider global conflict. Thank you for watching Dark Notice. If you found this analysis insightful, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments on how this military buildup will shape the coming decades.